Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order number 44-2C, I seek to request a statement from the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security regarding the recent killings and subsequent security operation in Capedo area, Baringo County, that began on 21st January 2021. Honorable Speaker, 2 senior police officers and 6 civilians lost their lives under unclear circumstances in Capedo area. These incidents happened during the police operation in the area, whose aim is to bring an end to cat rustling, which has been rampant in that region. Honorable Speaker, sir, it is on this background that I seek a statement from the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security on the following issues, among others. Number 1, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a chronology of events that led to the loss of lives of the 2 senior police officers and 6 civilians who died in the hands of police officers following their arrest in Chemolingo town in Baringo County in January 2021. 2, what plans are in place to address the effects of the police operations in the said areas that have caused massive internal displacement of persons and families, leading to serious humanitarian crisis, starvation, closing of socioeconomic amenities such as schools, hospitals, business premises, and other government departments. 3, could the ministry explain the criteria used in managing and carrying out the massive security operation in such areas, and how vulnerable citizens, who include women, children, and people living with disabilities, are protected from adverse effects of the said operations, and whether such criteria is being followed. 4, what steps is the ministry taking to deal with increasing cases of insecurity, and particularly cat rustling, and the overall security management in areas ravaged by this vice, especially in Tiaty and Turkana East constituencies, including, Honorable Speaker, sir, implementation of the proposed Marshall Plan by the Kenya Defence Forces on socio-economic transformation of the larger Suguta Valley region. Finally, could the committee consider making an urgent fact-finding visit to the affected area to ascertain the actual prevailing situation on the ground? Honorable Speaker, let me just stress this final part, that, Mr. Speaker, as it is now, there's a lot of suffering in Tiaty because of massive roadblocks that have been erected all over the place. And the police have suspended the law, and they're doing very bad things to the people. My own personal assistant was arrested, and he has not been found up to date. And several things are happening. The police are banning food. They stop vehicles carrying food, and they put the food on the floor, and they ban the food, including all manner of food. So is it a deliberate attempt by the government to starve the entire people of Tiaty constituency for the crime of a few, Mr. Speaker, sir? And I want to ask the committee, Mr. Speaker, sir, to consider making that trip to Tiaty as soon as tomorrow, if possible, Honorable Speaker, because the situation on the ground is terrible. People are running away from bandits and are also running away from police.
So the committee going tomorrow, how will they work? You say they are bandits and they are, I don't know, all manner of things. So are they not going to walk into hellfire? Honorable Kaluma, you hear the proposal that you visit the place tomorrow.
Mr. Speaker, the House is aware, because we engage outside the House with the leave of the House, and the House has facilitation Honorable Kamket is also aware that the subject matter has been under and before the committee for consideration for quite some time, even before the measures the government has instituted to deal with the matter of Capedo were so instituted. Mr. Speaker, all I wanted to indicate at this stage is that this is a very delicate matter. Of course, as a committee before and even during this time, government is intervening to ensure there is some calm there. We are insisting the rights of the people, their access to basics, be secured. But because of the delicate nature of the matter and the investigations involved, some of which Honorable Kamket is aware we've been undertaking, I would request, Mr. Speaker, for this particular instance, that you give the committee, if possible, 28 days. I know there are some thoughts within the committee on how the committee can go to Capedo a second time, because we've been to Baringo, Suguta and those areas before, but not after these measures the government is carrying on were instituted. But there are logistical arrangements we need to be assured of before we can plunge into that area that Honorable Speaker and Honorable Kamket, confirms before the House is delicate. So I would request Honorable Kamket that for those measures which are urgent, we can always intervene. We have been doing a bit of work, but for a report coming to the House on the basis of the question, Mr. Speaker, we need your leave to get back to the House substantively on the matter, both of Capedo and Marsabit within 28 days, so that we bring a solution that can secure future peace in those areas.
Yes, Honorable Kamket.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate what the Honorable Kaluma is saying. Except, Honorable Speaker, after 28 days, if they go after 28 days, as he's saying, they'll find no one. They'll find no one to speak to. The situation, Honorable Speaker, is dire. And if they are not able to access Capedo, they can as well go to Chemolingot, the constituency headquarters. And Chemolingot, the only insecurity in Chemolingot is caused by government. It is not caused by bandits. It is the police who have erected roadblocks within and around Chemolingot and Loruk areas. They can go to Chemolingot tomorrow. There is no insecurity in Chemolingot, unless the honorable member is telling me that they're also running away from police, just like the residents of Tiati. If that is the situation, then we are living in a police state, Honorable Speaker. And I really want to plead with you, Mr. Speaker, that the situation is dire. Schools have closed. Schools have closed, and we have exams within a very short time.
Now let's cut a long story short. This is the direction. Have a sitting. Honorable Kaluma, get your committee to have a sitting with the relevant government agencies. Invite the cabinet secretary and whomever in the course of next week. Honorable Kamket should be present, so that then you can discuss the logistics of how you travel to the affected area.
If you may permit, Mr. Speaker, I confirmed that this matter was before the committee, even before the ongoing government interventions began. And Mr. Speaker, Honorable Kamket and all members are aware that just last week, we met the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government, specifically on this matter. So the fact of the matter is that this matter is already before the committee for consideration. The questions being raised are just adding in impetus. The direction Honorable Kamket is taking is to choose for the committee which areas to go to in terms of how to get the best solution to this problem. And I don't think, Mr. Speaker, that is the best way to go. We already have a perspective over this matter. The Capedo issue is not just about Baringo. It could also be about Turkana and other areas. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, I was giving you a hint based on background information due to prior investigations before the committee that it is a delicate matter. I don't believe that we can go on record, Mr. Speaker, to say that because of an operation by the government of a people, the people are all going to be decimated, not to be available within 2 weeks. And I've assured the House that measures have been agreed within the committee with the government agencies, including the CS, that the rights of the people have to be secured as we seek a solution to this matter. So what we request for is patience. Mr. Speaker, calling the Cabinet Secretary next week, as you direct, Mr. Speaker, is not going to add anything other than what I know are the logistical arrangements already being undertaken between the committee and the government.
So, yes, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for...
No, not you. It's Honorable Kamket. Now, we can't, you guys, honorable members, it's not going to be debate. We just want to see how best the committee can respond to the issues raised by the Honorable Kamket.
Thank you.
The rest of you, I don't know what is exciting you.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Kaluma has misled the House. Mr. Speaker, the meeting, the summoning of the CS was to deal with the issues of Marsabit. The issues of Tiati were not discussed. I wrote to the chairman of the committee and appeared before the committee, and I was told to say what it is that I wanted to say. I was given a very few minutes to say some few words, and then I was told to leave the committee. We have not had a very serious, thorough engagement with the Cabinet Secretary and the security people, because these are we are talking about the lives of both civilians and the lives of police officers. People were picked, Mr. Speaker, sir, from Chemolingo town in a bar, professionals, Mheshimiwa Speaker. People were picked from a drinking joint, innocent civil servants, and the police went and killed them. This is a very serious matter, Mr. Speaker. And as we speak now, they are continuing to blockade the media. They are blockaded even Kenya Red Cross. Mr. Speaker, sir, even in serious international conflicts, Red Cross is allowed free access. But in this particular case, Mr. Speaker, they have blocked even Kenya Red Cross. No one is accessing Tiati. And Honorable Kaluma, Mr. Speaker, is a member of parliament like me. If this thing was happening in Homabay, what would he be saying?
Now, Honorable Kaluma.
So I request you, Mr. Speaker, that the order that you've made, please uphold that order, that the Cabinet Secretary and his entire team to come before Parliament and account. They must be held to account, Mr. Speaker. They must be held to account.
No,
two wrongs do not make a right, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Kamket, you are exciting other freshers like yourself, like the member for Bomet, who thinks this is a place where they can, by banging tables, you are not helping anything. Honorable Kaluma.
Mr. Speaker, may I say my last? I imagine the indication the House required of me is how long the committee will take to assist the House report back on this matter. And I've requested for 28 days. Mr. Speaker, I've mentioned that we've been to Baringo severally. We've been to Soguta, we've been to Baragoi. And I don't think it is right for my honorable colleague to say that he understands the business for which the committee requested the minister to come before them, than us who requested him to come. I know, and I may say it, but I don't want to say it. Allow me to say this is delicate. In fact, among the people being suspected to be triggering the situation in Capedo could be some colleagues, even within here. That is why I'm saying we are very advanced. Allow us, Mr. Speaker, I'm talking of logistics. This is the area, Mr. Speaker, you remember even some security personnel were shot down a short while ago. I cannot stand before this House to say on such a date members of parliament will be traveling by this means to such a place. When I'm talking of logistics being made, I know, and I'm assuring him as a colleague, and that's why I'm saying there are things I don't want to say here. This matter is delicate. Give us 28 days, we come with a substantive report on this matter that can lead to come along our people. I will be the last person to say the government should hurt their own, citizens. I've never understood that of a government. But let us report on behalf of the relevant government department within 28 days because of the delicate matter we are dealing with. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, Honorable Kamket seems to suggest that people will have, there will be nobody to. But of course, that is not true. But you see, let us not, that new habit you have acquired must have been during the recess period. Don't bang tables. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to plead with you, Honorable Speaker, that, please uphold the order that you made. That is the only way that this ministry can be held to account by this parliament. Because, Mr. Speaker, if we say that we allow the committee 28 days, given what is happening on the ground, Mr. Speaker, without the ministry being held accountable, I think we'll just be throwing our hands in the air and Mr. Speaker, we are here. If you look at the solemn words in our prayer, Mr. Speaker.
Now
we are here, Mr. Speaker.
Don't worry about the prayer. We say in the prayer, so it's alive. It's with all of us.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So we are here, Mr. Speaker. I'm not here in any contest with my colleague Honorable Kaluma, and he must feel like I feel. All honorable members here, we are all here for the interests of those whose interests we have been committed to our charge. And we are here.
Honorable Lentoimaga, you will not speak. Now, if you wanted me to tell you that, I must listen to what a member who has raised. You could be also from a budget-prone area. It doesn't matter. But you have not raised any issue. It can't be that, no, we don't want those sympathies. He has not, I thought he was making a request for a statement. He was not looking for sympathies. If he wants sympathies, he can go and hold a rally at Uhuru Park and call all of those who want to sympathize. But now we are dealing with serious business. He is raising some very serious issues. And you must allow me to hear what he is saying so that we know how best to tackle the matter. It may well be that actually the committee should invite the cabinet secretary and all those involved,
yes,
and the Honorable Kamket, so that now the Honorable Kamket will not require the sympathies of Honorable Sankok, Honorable Lentoimaga, Honorable Joyce Koril, all of who appear to be so excited about this matter, so that maybe when the Honorable Kamket appears before the committee, alongside the cabinet secretary and others, a lot of these issues which are exciting you will actually be resolved. Perhaps Honorable Kaluma, do this. Have a meeting. Let the committee hold a meeting with the cabinet secretary, because the issues the Honorable Kamket is raising cannot be addressed here without the cabinet secretary and the other people involved in the security docket.
Previous directions.
Yes, thank you.
That we meet within 7 days.
Yes.
So that in as much as that meeting may still require that we go down, these perspectives is bringing can be put together.
Exactly.
We'll do that.
Exactly, because then the Honorable Kamket will have an opportunity to raise all the issues he's raising, so that the cabinet secretary and all those who may be in a store could respond. And even as you make arrangements to visit the area, perhaps you will have now more information, and perhaps even logistics will be, maybe you might not want to go to the areas he has mentioned, because the Honorable Kamket has raised, and those are very serious issues, and I think some of them, we live in this country, so some of the issues he has raised, I'm sure many of you have even seen, read about them, or even watch them on television. So it may be good that Honorable Kamket raises those issues, and then those people, the police and all those in the security docket, are able then to give appropriate responses. The Honorable Ntoimaga, you may have been a DC, but you are no longer a DC. You are now another member of parliament. So also if you have issues in your area, you will raise them in the same way, but don't bang tables also.
Mr. Speaker, just one and finally, Mr. Speaker, I heard what Honorable Kaluma was trying. He was trying to put me down. Mr. Speaker, I just saying one word. If I am a leader and I am ready.
Honorable Kamket.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Yes. No, this is not the place where we deal with suspects or criminal suspects specifically. So, if anybody suspects that you have committed a crime, they should deal with you out there, not here. We know you to be the honor member for Tiati and the chair of the Committee on Delegated Legislation. Yeah. So, in the course within 7 days, let that meeting happen, and I want to make sure that you are in attendance, because I think it's fair that you go and raise those issues there. Those of you also wanted to support him, go and support him now before the committee. So because those issues, I'm sure the Honorable Ntoimaga, who is an expert also in those issues of military, will be able to. No. All those who have interest in banditry, please. Or who are victims of banditry. No, it's not debate. There's no debate. All of you who have interest in matters banditry, or because you are either victims or sympathizers or whichever, please appear before the committee on that day. Honorable Kaluma, please allow all of them to say what they have to say, so that then you bring a holistic report.